Hey guys, this is Bob Gatty from Lean to the Left. The decision to cancel Stephen Colbert's The Late Show on CBS, along with the Republicans' devastating cuts to public broadcasting, constitutes a major threat to freedom of speech, a cornerstone of our democracy, and that should have us all up in arms. As my colleague Mark Ambella wrote on Lean to the Left, CBS didn't just cancel The Late Show. They silenced the loudest satirical critic of Donald Trump on network television. Jimmy Kimmel is a close second. And of course, after the cancellation was announced, Trump gloated that Kimmel would be next. So now we live in a country where media companies, on whom many Americans have relied for coverage of the news and keeping us informed, are capitulating to Trump the bully, with one, Paramount CBS, even paying him millions of dollars as a settlement because of a 60 Minutes broadcast that he didn't much like. So what's next? Trump has filed a lawsuit against Dow Jones, the Wall Street Journal, and two reporters seeking at least $10 billion in damages, punitive damages, and other relief. The suit claims that on July 17, reporters, this is a quote from the suit, co-authored and published an article largely focused on President Trump that falsely claimed that he authored, drew, and signed a card to wish the late and utterly disgraced Jeffrey Epstein a happy 50th birthday. Close quote. So he's continuing to bully the media, even the generally GOP-friendly Wall Street Journal, while attempting to enrich himself even further in the process. Now, all of that's bad. The President of the United States bullying media outlets in this way, as well as those corporate media organizations, CBS, capitulating, harkens back to other tyrants who silenced the media to keep people from knowing the truth. Think Adolf Hitler. But even worse is Congress's approval of legislation gutting $1.1 billion in funding for National Public Radio and the public broadcasting system, an action that may well deprive communities that rely on NPR and PBS from receiving emergency alerts, children's programming, and trusted local news. Cutting that funding was not about saving money, as Trump and his GOP butt kissers claimed. It was about silencing independent journalism, pure and simple. All of this increases the importance of independent media, like this blog and podcast, as reliable resources for factual information. Immediately after the House vote, NPR CEO Catherine Mayer called the cut an irreversible loss to the public radio system. She said the effect would be an unwarranted dismantling of beloved local civic institutions and an act of Congress that disregards the public will. Public funding has enabled the flourishing of a uniquely American system of unparalleled cultural information and educational programming, she said, and ensured access to vital emergency alerting and reporting in times of crisis, all for about $1.60 per American every year. Parents and children, senior citizens and students, tribal and rural communities, all will bear the harm of this vote, according to Mayer. North Carolina Representative Alma Adams was among the Democrats who defended public broadcasting. She said, when Hurricane Helene devastated western North Carolina last year, public broadcasting was there when traditional communications failed. Widespread power, cellular, and internet outages meant that for thousands of North Carolinians, public radio was how they received their news. None of this is about saving money, as I said. It's about controlling the media and the information that is disseminated so people can be informed and understand what is happening in the world around them, including Washington, D.C. It's what dictators do, how they control their citizens. NPR said the House vote means the Corporate for Public Broadcasting, CPB, will lose 1.1 billion meant to fund it through the next 2 years. Now, CPB acts as a conduit for federal money to NPR, PBS, and their member stations. Although NPR, which produces news programs like Morning Edition, and All Things Considered, relies on direct federal funds for only a small portion of its budget. Its approximately 1,000 member stations get a heftier portion of their operating revenue through CPB, NPR explained. The network warned that many of those stations, especially those broadcasting to rural areas or to underserved audiences, such as Native Americans, could be forced to close as a result of the funding rollback. These quotes will significantly impact all of our stations, but will be especially devastating to smaller stations and those serving rural areas, said PBS CEO and President Paula Kerger. Many of our stations, which provide access to free local programming and emergency alerts, will now be forced to make hard decisions in the weeks and months ahead. If what Trump and his GOP backers in Congress are doing is meant to satisfy their right-wing supporters who believe Trump's claims that public broadcasting is a tool of the left and its programming is woke, they're speaking to a dwindling crowd. A Harris poll last week found that 66% of Americans support federal funding for public radio, with the same share calling it a good value. Support included 58% of Republicans and 77% of Democrats. Online poll surveyed 2,089 U.S. adults with a 2.5 percentage point margin of error. Now, the 34% who do not support federal funding for public radio about equals Trump's hardcore MAGA supporters. So it's time, past time, for people to wake up. Our country is in dire danger, and this is just one example. More efforts at censorship and media control undoubtedly lie ahead. It's all about mind control, your mind. Is that what you voted for? I'm Bob Gatty from Lean to the Left. Thanks for listening. Hey guys, I'm Bob Gatty, founder and host of Lean to the Left. I'm excited to share our new book, Hijacked Nation, Donald Trump's Attack on America's Greatness, co-authored with political analyst and professor C.J. Waldron. In Hijacked Nation, we delve into the unfolding story of America's political landscape through a series of essays from leantotheleft.net. We explore how Donald Trump's presidency has transformed American politics, challenging our values and institutions. Hijacked Nation isn't just a book, it's a call to action. It invites you to reflect on what it means to be American in a divided political landscape. Together we can reclaim our nation's greatness. So get your copy of Hijacked Nation today. Visit leantotheleft.net and click on the Books tab to learn more and to order.